Hello, my name's Christopher, and welcome back to the Partner Portal Series Guide. In Episode 2, we'll be focusing on the options found in the Mosaic Configurations page. This is what you can expect to encounter when selecting on the Mosaic's configuration page. You have several different options for the makeup of your Mosaic, which can be seen here on both the left and right-hand sides of the page. Before we start, we should probably name our project. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be naming our project Tutorial. After filling in your project name, you'll notice there's a field to fill in your anticipated event date. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll just be picking any dates. So we'll pick March 27th to March 29th. But when planning your event, this information will give our staff the necessary heads up for making sure someone's available to provide support during your event should you have any troubleshooting issues. The first section we'll be taking a look at is our Mosaic grid panel type. Here you have two options to select from: our standard grid, which is shown here, or our accordion wall grid. The standard grid option will be best suited for situations where you have a solid wall or structure to support your mosaic. If a wall is not available, then the accordion wall grid will probably be your better option. It will provide a place for the grid to be placed on during your event. For this example, I'll be selecting the standard grid. The second section we'll be looking at is called grid size. Here, you will be able to select the grid size of your mosaic. You have the option to select from one of our 3 preset sizes, or put in your own custom size to fit your needs. If choosing a custom size, keep in mind that there is a maximum limit to your mosaic depending on which panel type you've previously selected. These values can also be seen here when selected. It is also important to note that your mosaic will be slightly smaller or slightly larger depending on what grid surface features you select in the next section. Today, I will be going with a grid size of 10.5 feet by 6 feet. The third section we will be looking over is called cell size. Here you will see 5 different size options. Cell size will dictate the size and number of photos that make up your mosaic. The smaller the cells, the more pictures your mosaic will require. The larger the cells, the fewer pictures your mosaic will require. For our example mosaic, I will be going with a 2-inch cell size. Our next section is called Photo Library for Mockup. This section will allow you to choose what types of photos will populate your Mosaic Mockup example. In this section, you'll be able to select one or more libraries for your mockup. You have the option to select from social or hashtag photos, standard on-site photos, and green screen photos. These photos are purely used for the Mosaic Mockup. It is recommended to use mockup photos that are similar to what you expect to be taking at your event. By clicking on the information icon, it will give you descriptions of what kind of photos you can expect to see with each option. For our example, I've selected green screen photos because those are the type of photos I expect to be taking at our event. Our fifth section is called Source Image and is the section that will be the premise of your mosaic. You'll notice you have 2 options here: main image and overlay. Your main image is just that, the main image that will make up your mosaic. The overlay consists of any images that will not be part of the mosaic itself. Things such as texts, logos, or icons that will essentially sit on top of your mosaic. Below your overlay, you will find a Render Mosaic Mockup button. It's gray because we have not given it an image to render. When providing it with an image, this button will turn orange. However, if you have not filled out all the previous sections, you will receive an error message asking you to do so. Our main image and overlay were both created through Photoshop for this example. It is important to note that your main image must be saved as either a .jpeg or .png document. Your overlay must always be saved as a .png document. So let's go ahead and upload our main image and our overlay now. If you're having trouble or getting error messages while trying to render your mosaic, please reference our video setting up your source image. It'll go through the process of creating a main image and an overlay to match the grid size and the aspect ratios that you'll need for your event. You can find the link for that video in the description below. You can see now that our example is here on the right-hand side of our page. The mockup section will tell us some basic information about our mosaic and show us how it looks like based on the cell libraries we've selected. Any changes you make on this page will translate here. By changing our selected cell size, it will show us what the new total cell number, columns, and rows will be. So by selecting 1.5 inches instead of our 2, we've almost doubled our total cell size. You can also see how our live print mosaics overlay sits on top of our source image in the bottom right-hand corner of our mockup area. The overlay is unaffected by the mosaic, allowing it to remain easily seen despite being small text in comparison to our main source image. Our final section is our Select Color and Source overlay. This section will allow you to use the sliders to adjust both the color enhance and source overlay of your mosaic. Adjusting these sliders will adjust how much of your source image will overlay your event photos. The color enhance will adjust the color in the photos taken to skew them more towards your desired colors for your source image. That will conclude episode 2 in our series. In our next episode, we will be going through the mosaic grid surface as we continue to build on to our mosaic that we started today. So be sure to check that out.